Alright guys, welcome back. Obviously, as you saw in the title, we are celebrating 10,000 subs. Let's go. It took a little bit though. Only 106 long form videos, hundreds of shorts, and a year and a half being steady at it. So I'm really content and happy to be here hitting this milestone. So thank you guys so much. But I thought it'd be really fun to do a Q&A session, kind of get to know me a little bit more and answer some of your questions. So let's do it. Top 3 cities you've been to or visited. So first up, I'm gonna say Madrid was probably my favorite city. Well, yeah, that's the most recent, like in Europe anyway, so maybe I'm a bit biased. Madrid was insane, I loved it. But I'm gonna say Rome. I totally geeked out on Rome. I get why people wouldn't like it, but there's gonna be a common theme here of big cities, and that's personally just what I enjoy. I thought the history was really cool. And then number 3, I'm gonna say New York City. I absolutely love it here. I think it's really cool, which actually leads us into our next question. How are you liking New York City? So if you guys don't know, I signed a 2-month lease just to give it like a little bit of a feel. I was born and raised on the West Coast. I'm from Vegas originally. And so this is very different for me, a huge change of pace. So I just wanted to see, you know, how I liked it, how I felt I fit in, how it was making friends. And within the first week, I feel like I already knew that I would be staying here. Like that's how good it went, which was a huge shock to me. I honestly thought I'd just go back to the West Coast and maybe like live in California or something like that. But I think New York City is amazing, and especially if you're in your late 20s, or I think it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially for me right now. And so I'm taking advantage of it. I think it's super cool. But again, I also see the other side of why people wouldn't want to live here. It's very expensive, it's loud, it's a lot of things, but I like it. What's a fact that no one would ever guess about you? I have a very severe peanut allergy. Really nerdy, I know, and it sucks, I hate it, but I guarantee you didn't know that about me. Also an only child. 2 fun facts for you. All right, this is a fun one. How did you get started at being a content creator? So this is a great question. I, 4 years ago actually, started a blog, super random, about rooftop tents specifically and camping, like that niche, which is funny because I don't even like doing that. Obviously, I mean, look at me, I'm a city boy clearly. But I just have always had a passion to be an entrepreneur, and I figured content creation was the path of least resistance to do it. And my dad actually really pushed me into it. And so I took this course and I was all in on it and actually paid for that trip to Italy, which was actually my goal when I started it, which was really cool. It took me about 2 years to get there, but I put in hundreds of hours. I even had a YouTube channel and built that up to like 4,500 subscribers. But I just got burnt out because it wasn't truly my passion. And so I took like a year and a half off, and then I started again, but I wanted it to be more of like a personal brand. I didn't even know when I was first getting started that I wanted it to be mainly fashion, but I also wanted it to be lifestyle and just talk more about other things in life that I have to offer that interest me. And I figured that would be, like, if I could work towards something that I actually was interested in, like I know I can just keep pushing myself and keep producing content. I will work myself to the bone when it comes to that. And so here we are a year and a half later on YouTube, obviously, and I think seeing a good amount of success, more so on the other platforms, but nonetheless, that's kind of really how I got my start in social media. Favorite thing I've done in New York City so far. This is a good one. I would say it was going to Central Park, specifically like in the fall. So it's like the weather's crispy, the leaves look beautiful. So get a bagel right by Central Park, take it into the park, find yourself a nice little rock, maybe a date, which I did on this occasion, and people watch, enjoy the beautiful vibes that are Central Park, and it was extremely fun. And then after that, we went to a bar and played darts together, and it was super fun, and she actually beat me, which was quite annoying, but good for her. And it was just a really special day. It was super fun, and I felt like it was just quintessential New York City vibes, especially with Central Park just being unbelievably beautiful. I think that's really has sold me on being in New York, and now obviously it's cold and not like that, but it's still nice here. Ooh, I like this one. What's your favorite video you've ever filmed? That's such a good question. I think we're gonna get deep for a second. It was my life update video, and it was actually right after my breakup, and it was never something I considered having to do on social media, was like talking about my relationship. But it makes sense, obviously, you put your life out there, and I didn't have to address it. Honestly, I could have just breezed over it, but that just felt not authentic to me. And obviously you guys would start asking questions, like you had seen her in Jesus, you had seen her in previous videos, so I just knew that it made the most sense to just address it, like rip the band-aid off and deal with it. And so I actually did it like 2 weeks after the breakup. I woke up one morning and I was like, all right, it's time to film the video, whatever. Like super spontaneous. I filmed it once, watched it through once, and I was like, posting it. And there only one cut in the entire video, so it was just like me talking, because I stopped myself from crying, honestly. I just didn't want to do that. So anyway, and I was shocked. I thought it would only get like 500 views. It ended up getting like 5,000 views, hundreds of comments, and just the outpouring of support was so unbelievably shocking to me. And honestly, like that's why I say, even in the last vlog at the end, I was like, the highs have been better because of you guys and the lows have been easier to get through. And so I think that was my favorite video, just simply because of the like outpouring of support from you guys. Something that I did not expect at all. It was really, really nice. And yeah, it was special. Explain why you're so humble and handsome. Oh, geez, I don't know. No, I'm playing. I don't know what to say to that. Do you still have your 9-to-5 job? Yes, I do. So if you guys don't know, I also work a 9-to-5 on top of all of this, which is mad. I do software sales and it's fully remote, which is really nice. So it does give me a ton of flexibility, and that's why I was able to just move to New York and do all that. So I'm very thankful for that. And yeah, I feel like the day-to-day is pretty flexible as well too, and I actually enjoy what I do, and I think that's made balancing both much more reasonable. At times it does get tough, and I feel like my social life does suffer, and I also get quite stressed out because I feel like, you know, the weekends roll around and like it is right now, and I'm like, perfect, now I can even work on content even more. And it's hard to give myself days off. I'm trying to find that happy medium of balancing both, and at times it is really tough, and then at times I feel like I'm totally on top of it. But I don't know, I'm also weird in the way of I love being extremely busy, and I think at a point I will burn out, and I've certainly hit moments of that for sure. But yes, I still have my 9-to-5. It just feels like the responsible thing to do, but on the other hand, I have this thing that I'm insanely passionate about, which is obviously content, and I feel in my heart it's my future. So I think eventually that's what I will be doing full time, and candidly I could be, but that's a scary decision. If not fashion or travel, any other topics or niches that you would be interested in sharing? I mean, I feel like lifestyle is pretty different. Fitness, I would actually like to lean a little bit more into, and in previous vlogs I have talked a lot about fitness, but recently I just haven't really, I don't know, being in New York, it's been tough. I'm literally living out of a suitcase in essentially an Airbnb, so it's just very difficult for me to work that in. But I do want to start to work in more of that content, just simply because, one, it's a passion of mine, and two, I actually think I do have a lot of value to provide there. All right, let's get a little juicy here. How is dating life in New York City? Be honest. You know, I came in expecting fully to have to go on a bunch of dates. I hear horror stories about New York City dating, and I mean, if everybody says it has to be true, right? But I'm like overly optimistic about things in general, and I was like, yeah, but that won't happen to me. And that kind of has, which is crazy. So I literally went on my first Hinge date, and if you don't know, I got out of a relationship a little over 6 months ago, so I've been very slow to get back into the dating world, and I feel like I was finally at a point where I was like, I'm ready. So I go on a Hinge date, kind of just not expecting anything. I feel like the hit rate on those are so low, like maybe 1 out of 30 Hinge dates actually turns into something. That's my statistic, and it has. Honestly, I've been talking to this girl for 4 weeks now, and she's great. She's also a content creator, which is super cool. So we'll see where that goes. But actually dating in New York City, from my little sample size, I think I got very lucky. It's been really good. How do you stay so shredded? How much do you weigh? Thank you, by the way. I try to eat as clean as possible, and then I go to the gym about 5 times a week, and my regimen is typically going like 10 minutes on the Stairmaster each day at least to warm up, and then I get the blood flowing, which is nice, and then I go into my weight training workout for about 40 to 50 minutes from there. And if I can afterwards, I like to hit the sauna. I think it just makes me feel good. I don't think it adds to my aesthetic at all, but mentally I think it helps a lot. And then how much do I weigh? I'm actually pretty light right now at like 165, 164, and I'm 5'11" on a good day. So that'll give you a reference of, you know, how much I weigh and what my size is and stuff. Okay, camera died, but now we're back. How's life been? I actually like this question because it's really open-ended and I take it however I want. Life's been crazy. I feel like the last 6 months, if you've been following along the whole time, it's just been crazy, up and down. I mean, honestly, it feels like mostly up, which is nice, but it's just been so much change. Like I literally 6 months ago was living an entirely different life than I am now. And I feel like I've always been really good though at like accepting change and kind of rolling with the punches. And so I don't know, I look at my life now and I'm like, holy crap, I feel like I'm actually living in a literal movie. It's been insane. And so overall, like, life is amazing. I couldn't be happier, honestly. And I've like pinched myself every day that I'm moving to New York City and living the life that I am. I feel so grateful and surrounded by amazing people. And so I couldn't say better things, honestly. I feel very fortunate. Favorite underwear brand and style? I actually got like a lot of underwear questions. Y'all are weird, but I only pretty much wear Lululemon underwear. Can't recommend it enough. It's so comfortable, and I know a lot of my friends do as well. It's expensive, but in my opinion, it's so worth it. And it's the 5-inch style, and these are obviously briefs as well. They're great for the gym too. Are you gonna make a gift guide video? I did that last year, and honestly, it's quite a lot of work. I feel like if I was doing content full time, I could easily do it. But I've made plenty of short form videos, so go check out my TikTok, and you can find the playlist linked there. And I've already done 3 parts, so I would check that out. But I don't have the time to do a long form video, unfortunately. Here's a fashion one, since I technically am a fashion creator. How do you manage to keep a cohesive style and not have random out of place items, sorry. This is a really good question. I feel like it really just does come down to trial and error. So I do have things in my wardrobe that are maybe slightly out of place, but generally speaking, I think sticking to neutral tones. So, you know, your blues, your blacks, grays, beige, tans, those are all very easy to style with other pieces. And then minimal branding. So I actually prefer clothing that has 0 branding at all, because then it's much easier to wear, so people aren't gonna recognize it. And again, it's just easier to fit in with pretty much any outfit in many styles as well. All right, we'll get deep for a second. What's one piece of advice you would have for someone going through a tough stretch in their life? A couple of things. I think the only way out is through. So you just have to keep pushing and, you know, take it day by day, and you'll get to the other side and be honestly stronger for it. And I think knowing that that's the process, like, you're gonna have days where you feel great, you're gonna have days where you feel not so good, and it's just very up and down. At least that's how it is for me. I also think it's important to accept that therapy is a good thing, and especially men, I don't think really lean into that. I only went for a few weeks. I didn't connect with my therapist, and I actually do really want to go back, just because I think it's good to keep a check on your mental, you know, where you are at, keep a pulse on that. And so I think that's also an important thing, and having a space to talk about that. And thirdly, leaning into your support system. Hopefully you have that in your life. I'm very thankful and fortunate that I do. I have great friends and family. And so when I go through turbulent times in my life, I'm calling them and talking their ear off. Also, just keep a positive mindset, you know? It'll always get better, I think, is the end thing there. Staple jackets for under 200 bucks this winter. I actually made a short form jacket video, and almost all of those are under 200 bucks. So go check that out on Instagram or TikTok. What are some goals that you have for next year? I have some lofty goals. I would love to hit 100K subscribers on YouTube. It's a pretty aggressive goal, but I feel like it's actually very doable. So I think leaning into that, I kind of love to go full time at content. I'm scared to do it, to be quite honest. I haven't talked about that at length, and maybe I will more in an upcoming vlog, but I think that's a very cool goal. I've always wanted to work for myself, so that's a big one. And I think just focusing more maybe on less stressing about metrics, especially when it comes to social media. I think as a creator, that's something that's hard to do. It's very easy to compare yourself to other people, and that's just not a good way to live. So kind of detaching myself from the result or the metrics, and just really priding myself on like putting out the best content possible that I feel provides value and that I like to do and make. So again, thank you guys so much for all of the support recently. 10,000 subs, that's a lot of people. I always try to picture like 10,000 people in an arena. That's nuts. And I really appreciate it. And the fact that you even tune in and care about my content's amazing. So again, thank you so much. As always, I'll see you on the next one. Love you, bye.